Screen 3.
Alright.
This is the cool shit at Evo. And actually, Cameron, if you want to go ahead and go first and talk about Jade, that was one thing that I was going to add on to here. So if you want to go ahead and say all the cool stuff that she did.
So yeah, a lot of driving on her part. Definitely, at least the first couple of days of Evo and leading up to, she got Eniolis, D1, and a couple others to the PSG tournament. She also got AMSA and all the Japanese players there, and that's like, driving across the city and back, to get people to the tournament. So that was a big thing. And then before Evo, she was in contact with Gimmer of VG Boot Camp about getting a place set up for the Melee at Ame podcast. And eventually we got Daniel Rasputin to ask his parents if they would allow a late night podcast at their house.
A bunch of random dudes to set up a table and computer and...
Yeah. And it was really cool. We got to see them do their podcast in person.
That's pretty sick.
They definitely... They know how to put on a show, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You can tell, like, before and after the show, they're more chaotic and much more mean to each other because, they hang around each other a lot.
Right.
But once they get in the show, they're very professional, and I really like that. I just hope that they can, build on that, make the show itself more professional. We'll see.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, Jade did a lot of work. She, I think, got $30 in total for all the driving she did, and she probably spent like $150 on gas.
On gas alone, yeah.
Yeah, she was definitely stressed, but in the end, I think she thought it was worth it.
Cool. Yeah, big thank you to Jade for helping all the out-of-staters and out-of-countryers have a safe and enjoyable trip to Evo. And shout-outs to everyone that donated all that $30.
D1.
What's up, D1? Good job. Alright, so, let's see. I've got... this is basically the shout-outs panel right now. I'd like to give a big ups to everyone that roomed with me in the hotel, including one of my co-anchors, Jeremy, here, who is actually my cuddle buddy. We did get to share the bed together, which was real romantic. We also had Liam here. He came with Jeremy. Both of them brought like big ass gear and ended up going to like the wrong hotel, and then having to find the correct hotel and come back. So big ups to Liam for hanging in there and Jeremy for hanging in there for that. We got Echo, who showed up the second day. I do have to apologize to him. I kind of ignored him a little bit through the tournament unintentionally, just because I was so busy. He's one of the people that just I didn't get much chance to talk to, so sorry about that, Tucker. I'll make it up to you. We'll get some practice sessions in. JPEG and Psycho were kind of the last-minute additions. Neither of them seem to have gotten a whole lot of great sleeping situations, because JPEG, he didn't get a whole lot of sleep that first day, and he still managed to break his pool, but he complained about it the whole way through. And going into day 2, he even went home to sleep and then came back like when his pool started, day 2, and still got bodied by some random ice climbers. So so much for that, John. And then I guess Psycho probably didn't get a whole lot of sleep either, but that's kind of his fault too. He spent a whole lot of time on one of those GameCubes. And then lastly, RCA, who I owe a big thank you to. He helped set up so much stuff. He recorded the crew battles like basically all by himself, including using his tablet, proceeding to use his phone, then getting I think it was Butterscotch's phone to record the entirety of Vegas versus NorCal. with the exception, I think, of JPEG versus Justin, the Fox player. But yeah, he did a whole lot there with the recording. He helped a whole lot with setting stuff up in the hotel room. He ran a lot of gear up and down between his car and the room, and helped set up a ton of stuff. He's really got the knowledge about electronics, so I guess he's really earned his name. So thank you very much, RCA, for everything you contributed to helping the hotel room and Vegas' time at Evo run smoothly. Next time you guys see RCA, thank him personally for at least recording Vegas versus NorCal, because that was incredible. I did get...
Dude, RCA is one of the nicest and most generous people I know, so I'm not surprised he
most
wants to be helped.
underrated player in Vegas. But yeah, cool guy. Thank you very much, RCA. Roberto Amador. I did get to meet Strider 7X, who is brothers with the guy that's name is like TM47. Strider 7X, I hadn't really met him before because he went to some convention that I didn't go to. I think, Jeremy, you met him before. Scott Gordon, I think is his real name.
Yeah, I met him at Level Up.
Right, Level Up.
Yeah.
He's a really cool guy. Got to talk to him a lot. He also streams Paper Mario, and I think that's his main interest, but it seems like he's getting more interested in Melee, so hopefully he can make it down to some more of our events. Really cool guy. Got to talk to him a lot. Tudor came by the hotel room. For those of you in the chat that know who Tudor Cominescu is, he is awesome guy. Oh, RCA is in the chat. Everyone throw up some hearts for RCA. Oh, gotta do that. Yeah, Tudor Cominescu is kind of a retired player. He's lived in Vegas and Reno. Samus player, really awesome guy. Really cool to see him again. And I think I teamed with him for like 2 straight hours against RCA and Liam. And it's the most fun I've had playing Super Smash Bros. Melee in like 2 or 3 years. It was that was a blast. Dude, Samus Pichu. I'd never had so much fun playing as Pichu, but now I think he's a great character as long as Tudor's on my team. And also Mike Dizzle. I don't know if you're in the chat. Mike Dizzle is from Reno. He came all the way down from Reno to kind of go to Evo, but it was a last minute thing, so he didn't have a real pass either. So I think he only went on Friday, which is actually the worst day to go as a spectator, because it's all a bunch of bad people playing bad people, mostly. And then I think he just opted not to go on Saturday, which is probably the best day he could have gone. And then on Sunday, he tried to come, apparently, and then realized he couldn't get in without a real pass. So I feel bad. I didn't really get to hang out with him very much either. But Mike Dizzle, cool guy. Hopefully you get involved in that Reno scene, which we will talk about shortly. Let's see. Jeremy, you have any cool shit to talk about Evo, related or unrelated to...
I mean, talking like hanging out with people, we had a good time hanging out with Utah John.
John, I have him in the notes later too.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention like hanging out at Burger and stuff.
Yeah,
a good time.
And I guess he waited at Burger for like a long time. So, thank you, Utah John, for chilling with us. I'm glad I got to get. Best decision was when we were going into Burger, grabbing him and making sure he got like the first seat at those tables.
Yeah.
So thank you, Utah John, if you see that. I don't know his full name, but yeah, thank you, man. Anyone else? You guys meet anyone else cool?
I met Vancouver. Canada.
All right.
Yeah, they when I was bringing my TV to Ironic's hotel room, which was at the Riviera, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We ran into these group of Smashers, and they're all from Vancouver.
Uh-huh.
And then they turned around and came with us to his room.
They saw CRT and they got bloodlust, didn't they? They're like, oh, CRT, these guys play Smash Brothers.
Yeah, totally. And they had this mini, I swear to you, a 6-inch CRT. Like, it had a handle and everything like a game
Nice.
does, and they said it's the perfect TV for Melee.
Travel Smash.
And they ended up having a crew battle because Mexico ended up showing up, so it was Canada versus the world. And yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome meeting those guys. I Facebook friended a couple of them
Nice.
and told them to go to Falcon Boards because that's where all my stuff is. And it was awesome. Yeah, you guys.
Very cool. Jeremy, you said you had met someone? Or
Oh, I met, was it you that came with me? I can't remember. Me and someone else met Cosmo and
Oh,
Siglemic.
yes, I got it, because I wanted to meet Cosmo a lot, and I know you like Siglemic, but I didn't really care to meet Siglemic that much, so I was like, if we go at the same time, neither of us look like an asshole.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, that was pretty cool. I got to meet Cosmo. I completely forgot to take a picture with him, but it's all good. I got to chat with him a little bit about like Castlevania 64 and all that good stuff. Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. Those Colorado players. Yeah, thanks for bringing a bunch of Colorado players for me to like consecutively 4-stock. Thanks, Metal Blade. They were cool guys. Don't get me wrong. They're all cool guys. I didn't really meet them very closely, but that room got hella crowded, man. There's like a post in the hotel lobby saying Sword Saint's room has a TV. Come play. PK Reese is Mason.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. I did get to take a lot of pictures. I like that picture I got with Silent Spectre that you see on the screen. The picture of JPEG and Aneolus in the elevator before their pool. I thought that's a pretty good one. In the bottom left is Bacon and Silent Spectre playing an everlasting game of rock, paper, scissors. They both shot rock about 15 times before they stopped playing. I think Bacon actually said something like, I'm not going to change from rock, and I think Silent Spectre wasn't either. So I have no clue how they decided how to stage strike, but it wasn't by rock, paper, scissors. Liam actually got a whole lot of stuff. He brought his Wii U and a silver Sharpie, and he got a whole lot of like signatures on his Wii U. It's like full of signatures. There's some pretty good ones, and then there's like stuff like M2K where it's just the laziest M, the laziest 2, and the laziest K ever written in the history of English handwriting. But it still looks pretty cool. The silver on black, it's pretty legit. Let's see. I can't think any other shout-outs to anyone. It was just a fun time overall.
Shoutouts to Ryan Leonardo for taking that great picture.
Oh yeah, that picture in the bottom right there. Currently our Facebook group photo, our cover photo, whatever it's called. But yeah, that's a pretty great picture, and it's the last game of the set. Everyone's watching, even like Sheridan's in the background and everything. Pretty cool stuff, man.
Yeah, that's sick.
Alright, so we'll move on to crew battles, and I think we'll do it in the order that they happened, actually. So I'm moving on to the next panel here, and that's actually the main picture here on the next panel is our Vegas versus NorCal crew battle, the big-ass crowd behind us. So Vegas had 3 crew battles in total at EVO, because the community didn't want to do a crew tournament, even though I tried to set one up. Didn't quite happen, but instead we did get some Vegas crew battles. Arizona, a couple players from Arizona saw the first episode of What's Up Vegas and were like, hey, this might be fun, so they set up a crew battle against us. They had some pretty good players there. Jem and Corey Games and Brady were all there. There are a few others, and there's a Zelda player, I think, that played against Jeremy. But anyway, Vegas versus Arizona, basically they didn't use Vector Man or Axe or Taj or Ty, and Silly Kyle wasn't there. So it's basically Arizona minus those players. I played against Corey Games in game 1. I won with 1 stock. She's a good player, and she plays so funny too that is very strange to get used to. She doesn't play like Psyche or Fernando do. And then I played against Jem. Jem played Marth on Yoshi's against me, and I took a stock. And I don't know if you guys can see the notes on the Imager album, but I did okay. And then Leo, not so much. He counterpicked Jem to the stage he just saw. Jem counterpicked me. And then proceeded to take one stock, and then got destroyed. He missed like all of his tech, and I don't know. It was pretty bad. I didn't even choose for him to play. He just kind of like walked forward and plugged his controller, and I'm like, what's happening? Like, all right. And then he just got destroyed.
He was really hyped up to play, so he kind of just played.
I killed the hype pretty quick, I think. That wasn't very pretty, and like a lot of the decisions he made going into that, I don't agree so much with. But I don't know. I forgot a lot of the Arizona stuff because I was busy trying to deal with Reno, who were complaining about.
Psycho destroyed K9.
Yes, he did. That's right. I think did K9 take a stock?
He took one stock.
He took one stock. Yeah, and then it was like, hey, let's fight Psycho on the edge. Oh no, there goes my life.
Nope.
Let's try it 3 more times. Yeah, that did not work out so great for K9. See, that's how Psycho should have played against Mike Hayes. Just get him off the edge and finish him.
K9
Mike Hayes is definitely better.
A PM player.
That's true. Mike Hayes is definitely better.
But yeah, Psycho played better in the crew battles that he did in the tournament.
Yeah. So you played against a Zelda player, right?
Yeah.
Who is basically just like Twinkle Toes the entire set. And I mean, it kind of works against Peach because, like in theory, it's just like having active knees all the time.
Yeah.
But you played it out pretty well. Like if I played Peach, I would be super uncomfortable fighting a Zelda that knew what he was doing. Because I think that's kind of effective against Peach. But I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. Like I knew what he wanted to do, but I would still get hit by it. I was like, yeah. But I didn't do too bad, so it was okay. I can't remember who else they played. I think I counterpicked into one of their like one stock spacies or something. Because I would rather them counterpick me instead of counterpick like Psycho or whoever, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or, like one of our stronger players. So I don't know. I thought I did okay.
So what else? Psycho rolled him. Kalichi did all right. He had this dumbass suicide where he did like this soft, fast falling back air on Yoshi's, and then like suicided before it killed. It was just kind of silly. But yeah, we ended up winning that. I can't remember how close that was either. I don't even think I saw the end of it, just because I was dealing with the Reno players. But we did come out ahead and win that one, which is pretty good. Let's see. So, yeah, that's about Arizona's all cool guys too, so it was fun to talk to them. Alright, so the next part, Vegas versus Reno. I'll let the captain and starter of that crew go ahead and talk about Vegas versus Reno.
Yes, the Spy Machine here. I think Vegas B.5 team definitely showed how much stronger Vegas is than Reno, just in general.
I think so too.
Because we clearly did not put our best players in there, especially if you consider who went in first, the Spy Machine. And,
how did the Spy Machine do in that crew battle?
The Spy Machine took one quick stock and then proceeded to kill himself, miss wall techs, and just be stupid. But yeah, in general, I think besides our first player going in, I think everybody did well and played well. And after it all was ended, we had 5 stocks over them, and they posted very salty on Facebook after that, on their group.
Yeah, they kind of did. And you know what's also noting is Ironic also suicided at least twice, possibly 3 times. I think he's 2 or 3 times. So with all the suicides, Dan's the man. Jeff and who else? Hunt all went to work. Jelly was the anchor for the crew and did not even get to play, even with all those suicides. Hunt got to like 200% on Battlefield and decided he doesn't want to die, and just didn't, which is pretty impressive. Dan's the man kind of rolled over, like he beat their CBK, their Ganon player, like pretty solidly. It's like he just like forward tilted drunk Ganon, and like Ganon just like, oh, I don't know what to do about this, and then proceeded to like body Ernest too. Like everyone was rooting against Dan, and he just bodied Ernest anyway, which is pretty rough. And I think Jeff said this was maybe the most like detriment to their play was I said Dan's the man would be ranked in Reno, and I think it was over right then and there.
Oh god.
But yeah, so we our B.5 team, including Dan's the man and Nick, who I just kind of threw in there just because they were standing right in front of me and we needed more players. So that did work. I'm not surprised that Ernest beat him in the money match later, but he super choked in crew battles, and that's kind of like what happens. Yeah, everyone played pretty well.
So Badger and Johnny and Ernest, or maybe just Johnny and Ernest, were saying basically that they all choked, which kind of makes sense. And so like everyone was saying Badger was like being salty and stuff, but I think it's really on Facebook and stuff like that. Right? I really think it's just like him trying to be like playful with like hype, like trying to not like actually start shit, but like just be like kind of like a friendly rivalry thing, but like it does come off as kind of salty.
Yeah, well, so, if you lose and then immediately call for a money match, it's salty. I've done it, and I know it's salty.
No, I was talking about Facebook.
On Facebook,
on
Facebook,
that was salty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was salty.
But yeah, Fernando actually didn't even get to play for the second crew because Ario just didn't show up, even though he said he was coming. So Ario never showed up, so we're like, okay, I guess we'll take out one of our Samus players too. So Fernando just got removed from the crew. And that was another time if I had been like paying more attention and cared about the Reno crew battle a little bit more, I would have said, "Oh, Tucker's here," and fielded him instead of Dan probably, or Nick. I would have fielded him instead of either of them, honestly. But honestly, like literally, Dan and Nick were the two people right in front of me, and the Reno players wouldn't leave me alone. So I was like, "All right, you two, fine, let's add them." Oh, hopefully it's not my mic. I'll remove that.
It might be mine. Yeah, it's probably mine then here. I don't have headphones in.
I did have my fan kind of in my direction. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. But yeah, so we did pretty good work against Reno, and now they want to come back and challenge our A team next year, so, I don't know. Maybe I'll play Link or something.
Yeah, dude, honestly, like, I was joking with you. Not even I think, like, I assure you, like, A team could play, like, their third characters, their tertiary characters, and just, like, off them.
Yeah. But, I mean, what's good is that now that they want to win, that's good. That might make them want to actually throw down and get stronger at the game.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was Vegas versus Reno. And any last thoughts, crew captain, from Vegas versus Reno?
Yeah, I think it did come down to their better players just choking a little bit, especially if you consider that Ernest did in fact 3-0 Dan the Man in a money match afterward.
Right.
And Badger didn't do too bad against Fernando, and Fernando's,
Mhm.
roughly pretty good in Vegas. So
Did you mention the money match of Badger and Fernando afterward?
No,
yeah,
you know about
just
that
yeah,
story?
yes, I didn't get to watch it, but I did know about it. I know it was 3-1, right? Badger
Oh, okay.
won. Badger won game 1, and Fernando just ran through him after that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Okay. Which I don't know. I guess that makes kind of sense. I didn't want to side bet on that just because Fernando sucks now. But like, had it been a month ago, I would have put $10 on Fernando.
Right. Yeah.
But from
Well,
watching,
I don't think there are that many. I don't think there are that many people that wanted to bet on Badger anyway.
oh, okay.
I think even the Reno guys, like, they said they didn't really have much cash. Sorry, Cameron. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's fine. Yeah, that's about it. I really think Cruise is like the best event Smash Brothers could ever do.
I think it's awesome. I wish more people would embrace it. I think crews are so cool.
One last thought on Reno is that Badger in the Facebook thread was saying that they didn't even have some of their best players. So I would have liked to see like Reno's like top 5 or whatever versus our
Right.
B team.
But in all fair, like he said, like, oh, we only had 3 of our top 5. It's like we used 1 power ranked player.
Right.
and
Yeah.
we used
Well, that's why I
Ironic,
said-
who's
that's
like
why I
our
said-
D team.
Yeah.
They're all weak. Get them, Tony. Alright. I think I would agree. I think maybe having all they have a player, I think his last name's Fasano. I think his name's Michael Fasano. He plays Marth and Peach. He's, I think, their undisputed champion, but he didn't get to go. And I guess they have a couple other pretty strong players that didn't manage to make it. So hopefully next year, provided Melee is at EVO next year and people go to it, then hopefully we get to play them again. It'd be kind of cool. So moving on to Vegas versus NorCal. You guys still there with me?
Yes.
I'm getting like there's no feedback anymore. There was feedback earlier and now it's gone. Cameron, you still there?
I quit.
I don't know if Cameron's still on here with us.
We'll
Maybe he just killed his mic. That's okay. Anyway, so Vegas versus NorCal. We played in this one anyway. Cameron didn't even play in this one. So Vegas versus NorCal, which was like the event of the weekend for me, is just kind of like a culmination of how strong we've gotten, being put to the test. So Vegas versus NorCal basically started off with me saying we'd play Reno in a crew battle, like for fun. But the idea is Vegas versus Reno. It's not supposed to be Vegas and friends versus Reno and friends. Like that doesn't really prove a whole lot. It's not really the point. But this guy Luis, forget his whole name, but Luis, who's actually playing Psycho in the picture there, kind of butts in and says like, "Oh, I can play for Reno, and I can bring friends like that are unranked, and then we'll beat you guys." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." Then I look and like, he's not even from Reno, so I was like, "Wait, why does that even make sense?" So I say that, and I'm like, and I think it came down to like, you know what? If you play with Reno, sometimes it's okay, you can play with them, but why would you bring people that haven't even met these other players in your crew? And why would we still even call that Vegas versus Reno? It's basically draft crews at that point. So they got all upset about it because Reno knows they're going to get squashed, I think. So they get upset saying like, "Whoa, why don't you guys let these guys play?" And Luis is like, "You know what? Us and all of our unranks could beat all of Vegas like without using a second player." Like all this really cocky shit. So I'm like, "All right, let's set it up." So we end up drafting some players, getting a team together, and when it finally comes around on Saturday, we end up doing 8 players with a 9th alternate player. It was a Psyche. I don't know who their 9th was, but we got to do the big Vegas versus Reno crew battle. Let me link that in the chat real quick. Man, my internet is not doing well. Hold on one second. I have it liked on YouTube. Just so you guys can bookmark that and watch it later. Or at least just watch JPEG versus Berto. Here we go. So I'm gonna link that in the chat. Boom. Looks and sounds good. Good. Yeah, I'm dropping frames like crazy, but fortunately my stream is just still frames, so I think we're okay. As long as the mics come out okay is all that really matters. Yeah, here we go. Vegas versus Reno's in the chat. Or Vegas versus NorCal right there for you guys. So I started up against SFAT's little brother, actually played first against them. I managed to 3-stock him. It's like the first stock was pretty close, and then I just kind of pulled ahead every stock. So I take 4 from him, and then they send in Anson, one of their Falco players, and he actually destroys my next 2 stocks. Like my second and third stock, I rewatched this, and he just beat the shit out of me. But then I managed to fight back, and I take like 3 consecutive stocks on him, and then all of a sudden what looked like a mediocre showing, suddenly I did pretty well, which was pretty good. Getting a 7-stock lead was nice to start with. And then our counter pick was actually Jeremy, so if you want to talk about the next parts.
Honestly, after we watched the match, I don't even really remember how it went. I know we were going pretty even for a stock, I think. Or
it was close. That stock was super close.
Yeah, and then I really wanted to beat him without losing a stock, because that would put us like in even a better position, just a full person ahead. But he ended up taking my first stock, and then I was like pretty confident I could just take his stock without dying, and I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah. It was,
and then
I don't know if he hit you or if he hit you with anything strong going.
Yeah, it might have been a JV. I can't remember.
You know, it was a JV. You did JV him. Yeah.
Oh, that's like
that's kind of disheartening, right? It's like,
yeah.
If I didn't take that first hit.
Yeah.
Basically, the only reason that he took that stock is because you lost a rock paper scissors edge guarding him. He went high and you covered medium, and that's basically all it came down to. But yeah, you survived really long against him, and then you went up against Gar, their Sheik player. He was actually one of their stronger players, to my understanding.
Oh, okay. I think I heard that too. Yeah, I got bodied by Sheik. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to play against Sheik. I just get slapped around and get faired, and then I lose. I don't know. Like
that's basically what happened.
Yeah, like so. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take. Oh wait, no, I took 1 stock from him.
You took 1.
Yeah, I took 1 stock from him, and then got bopped.
I think you took the very first stock, actually.
I don't know.
I remember watching it back, and I'm like, wait, he took the first stock, and then I think he took 3 straight on you, actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. So like, I was like kind of upset about it, but not that disappointed, just because like kind of with the same strategy I was going for with Arizona. I like being used as like a counter pick bait, basically, because I feel like we have a bigger advantage going up against his 3 stocks. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
With counter pick advantage as well.
Yeah, with counter picking the back, I guess. Right. Like on the backside.
Yeah, so with him, it's funny. Our crew actually only had 2 space animals, myself and SK92. And when their Sheik was out, I realized this. I'm like, wait, shit, I already went, and we only have one other space animal. And in my opinion, space animal is usually the most reliable counter pick against Sheik. So like, oh crap, I guess we need SK92.
Well, also, if we had Tra, I'm pretty like he's always been pretty good against Sheik.
Yeah,
I know we didn't.
I probably if Tra was like there and in our roster, I probably would have chosen Tra instead, just to save Kyle a little bit longer. But it came down to like, oh crap, I don't want to counterpick us against ourselves, so we threw in Kyle, and he actually did really well against Scar. He lost 2 stocks, but he took 3, which is kind of what you want to do, is always play up to whatever you had. So he did pretty well, and then their player Reason, who's a Dr. Mario player, he started stepping up, and I told Kyle, I said like literally 3 times like, ban final destination, ban final, ban final, ban final. Like I said it like that to him, and he looks at me, he's like, I think I'm okay on final, guys, and I think Bacon.
So much like them.
And I think Bacon as well was like, no, it was either Bacon or JPEG next to me, and went like, no, ban final. But he was so sure that it'd be okay on final, even though Dr. Mario, especially like a NorCal doc that knows how this goes. Yeah, your mic is like frizzling out, Cameron. But he doesn't ban final, so of course Reason chooses final, and then I think Reason does lose a stock to wave dash back forward smash, just because everyone that's not from Vegas just gets hit by that. Reason scores, I think, an up throw, up B. I think he did an up B cancel. I'm not sure though, but he did an up throw, and it's hard to tell if he did an up B cancel or he just wave dashed in place. And then sweet spotted a forward reverse forward smash and eliminated Kyle's stocks, which, like, Kyle with 2 stocks should probably like go further than he did, but he only took 1 from Reason, which is a little bit disappointing. Yeah, let me see if I can.
Dude, I'm hearing so much, just like.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of static too. Could you guys hear me at all?
No, I like, not really now. I heard like up throw and stuff. I don't know.
Alright,
well, I'm pretty sure you just fixed it. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the mic and earbuds or something. Okay. Anyway, yeah, they knew Kyle would go to final. Yeah, that's so bad. He didn't listen to me, and he got bought because of it. Damn it. Yeah, the static was you, Cameron. I'm not sure why, but it was definitely on your end. So against Reason, we sent out Bacon, and Bacon played great. Like, Bacon played some of the smartest I've ever seen him play. He baited out so many spot dodges, and yeah, actually like did really well against him. And then they sent out who would be basically their MVP. The player named Justin, who's a Fox player, against Bacon. Bacon took 1 stock from him and then lost. And at this point, I had to kind of debate, like, the 4 players we had left to field were Tony, JPEG, Psycho, and Leo, or Psyche if we used him. But we decided to use. I decided to use Tony, mostly because I wanted Tony to play, because he did come all the way down to watch the crew battle and play, because I called him specifically for it. But I knew that this Fox was pretty good against him. That Justin is Miku's. Oh, okay. I was never sure. They only ever said Justin. They like not a single time did they say Miku's, like out loud. But it might have been him. But yeah, just Tony kept trying to down smash a guy that wasn't there, and Justin was just like too smart for it. So he just kind of baited down smash, and then like drill shine up smash, and like every single stock basically. So unfortunately, like Tony would have like 4-stocked Pikmin but deadly and done pretty good against like Anson. But yeah, Justin was just like the counter pick for Tony basically. So we kind of counterpicked ourselves there. And then we sent in our fucking superhero JPEG image, who he lost 1 stock to Justin, and then eliminated him. And then JPEG versus Berto, which I don't know if it was time-stamped, but it's like 43 minutes in on the YouTube video. It's Captain Falcon versus Falco on Yoshi's. JPEG does some of the nastiest, most like crazy combos against Berto, and he even though he's down a stock, he only loses 1 stock against arguably one of their best players, Jeremy, I think you said he was saying he'd probably end up ranked on NorCal next.
No, they were saying one of the other guys, I can't remember who was saying it, was saying that Berto was going to be ranked on the next rankings list because he's been beating some of the ranked people.
And like he's a solid player. I think he double one stocked me in like a casual money match. Like it's like a $1 money match. So like he definitely outplayed me, but it's like not like I cared all that much about $1. But he's a solid player. And JPEG just didn't make it look that way though. He just read like hard reads with downers and eliminated him. It was so crazy. That should have basically ended the crew battle right there. But then they sent out a Jigglypuff against JPEG. And whatever JPEG did, he ended up getting rested. Like it's just like he'd take these silly like random percents, and then I think he jumped out of shield on his last stock and got up tilted out of the jump out of shield, and is like up tilt rest, and yeah, he didn't take a single stock from Du Young. So then we had actually what might be one of the more hype matches was Leo for the win versus Du Young, which is a round that actually L showed up during JPEG versus Berto or before that, but L was there for Leo versus Du Young, which is a Doc versus a Jigglypuff, and it went to Final Destination. So we knew we'd be in for a long game with like 69 minutes on the clock. But that went on for a real long time, and it came down to like the very last stock. But we had a whole lot of Vegas and NorCal chants back and forth. I know, Jeremy, you were one of the chant masters as far as that went.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty awesome. I think we kind of all lost our voice in that game, just because of how long we were yelling. So Du Young wins with one stock, and then Psycho comes in as our final anchor. Leo fist bumps. Psycho comes in as our final anchor, and he takes Du Young's first stock, or last stock rather, without losing one, which is pretty crucial, because then Luis comes into play. And I think at this point Luis had no choice but to play, because if he didn't play and they won, he still wouldn't really be allowed to talk shit, because he didn't really do anything.
Right.
That's why I felt like, well, I guess he's just gonna have to play. And he already said he played Marth. He could, like, if we weren't saying like semi character locks, then he probably would have maybe gone Fox. But they had asked us what our remaining characters were before I even asked them. So I feel like you know they can't change their character lock if they were specifically asking us ours. So he comes in.
Do you know if Marth is Luis's main?
I think he's a Marth Fox. I think he plays both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he goes to Yoshi's with Marth. Psycho proceeds to double suicide again. Well, it was actually weird. I rewatched those games. Psycho, basically, he up-B'd poorly. He had a lot of reactable up-Bs, where he could have up-B'd and seen that he was getting edge guard, and went onto stage, take a smash, and then recover correctly. But he made a lot of really late decisions on his recoveries. I think he bow-backed once. And it ends up being last stock at 0%. I did check that too. They both had last stock fresh, basically. And that last stock actually wasn't close at all. Psycho just, didn't suicide. It was basically all he had to do was not suicide. And he pulled it through. It's the first time I've ever actually seen Psycho excited about anything. Because he won with one stock, and he actually got up and was chanting Vegas with the rest of us. I don't think I've ever seen Psycho get excited before. So that was interesting to see too. But yeah, we pulled it through. Vegas beat NorCal and cocky ass Luis. But they're all cool guys actually. Me and Jeremy and Liam ran into Anson on accident, looking for food. And they were cool. It was funny. It's like, oh, are you Sword Saint? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm Anson. I'm playing for NorCal. And his friends were like, oh, but I was like, oh, what's up, man? How's it going? It's like, oh, we're actually just all cool with each other because that's how Smashers mostly are.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool, and most of them are pretty cool guys. And then when we went to Burger right after as our celebration dinner. me and who'd I go with? JPEG and Psycho, I think. Me, JPEG, and Psycho passed by. No, I went with Bacon. Me, Bacon, and Psycho, I think. We passed by. The NorCal guys were there for some reason. Like, right after the crew battle, we passed by them. Like, we tried to get away from you. What the hell are you guys doing at Planet Hollywood? So it was pretty funny that we just kind of, like, ran into them. Like, after all that. In, like, the most random place, too. Why the hell were they at Planet Hollywood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, yeah, it was pretty funny. Any other Evo stuff worth talking about? I think Cameron's, like, unplugging and replugging in his mic as he goes along. Because I think this is the last Evo thing.
Cameron?
I think he's here. Any
Can
other?
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You still have a little bit of fuzz, but it's not that bad.
Okay.
Any other last Evo things to talk about, or we want to move on?
The last day was pretty hype, but having it gone to MLG as well, MLG was packed with way more good matches, I think, on the last day and second video, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially since Armada didn't manage to get into grand finals. It was a little bit depressing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Evo last day, that was pretty sick. So I guess we'll move on. We'll talk about Vegas Smash monthlies and where we're going from there. I'm moving on to the next slide.
Alrighty.
So you guys actually have a whole lot more experience in this field than me. So there's a little bit of debate about when we'll have it, when we'll have our monthlies. Though that's mostly settled, but actually we'll let both of you guys take the lead, and I'll be right back. So you guys go ahead and talk about that, and I'll be right back with you guys.
Okay. So right now, I guess the plan is, at least obviously for this month, we're going to be at PSG still, as usual. It's this coming up Saturday, but we're going to be starting a little bit later. This time, it'll be sign-up start at 4 and turning starts at 5. We'll still be able to fit everything in, but probably not things like amateur bracket. Those will kind of be up in the air depending on how our schedule goes and how quick we can run everything else. But those definitely won't be a top priority. But in the future, we might be trying out different venues, such as like a Gamer's Paradise or even possibly GameWorks for our monthlies. We have, I think, Cameron, aren't you and Bacon going to go check out GameWorks to see how the venue is?
Yeah, I've been in talks with one of their reps, and she's been really nice and been very communicative with me. She said that they're going to have a whole new esports section for all those who, went to the old one that was on the strip. This new one's going to have a whole section just with a bunch of computers and tables for other TVs and games. So yeah, we're going to, Friday, around 2 or 3, Bacon and I are going to go over there and check it out. I have a bunch of notes with me that we're going to use to sort of get a good judgment on what we need and what we can use from them. And after that, I'll contact you guys about it and tell you guys all what's up with it. But I think it's going to be a good choice if it's a nice price.
Okay. Yeah, and also, I'd like to mention, even if we don't end up using it for our monthlies, we might end up having tournaments there, maybe like bi-weeklies or something. Or like possibly other monthlies that don't replace our current monthlies, if that makes sense. Like monthlies in addition to the monthlies we have now. And where's that located again? Where's the GameWorks located?
Town Square, right?
Yeah, it's in Town Square.
I think so.
Which is sick. That's so cool.
Yeah,
I love Town Square, dude.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that's in like a lot more like centralized area than PSG.
Definitely.
So hopefully that'll help. Maybe bring more people in and stuff like that. Same with the Gamers Paradise. It's definitely smaller, but I think if we have more tournaments there, I mean, I'm hoping people will show up because I think it's in a pretty good location also.
Yeah, actually, Cameron had a statistic chart that basically made it look like a Gamer's Paradise was the best place. That map that you had. And that was what, by player density or something, if you want to, like, do you know much?
Yeah, it was, so I used the player finder stuff to check out, people's general areas where they were, and then I took that information and put it into, like, a little graph, and then I, like, numbered the graph, all this, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I put it into a map that eventually I color-coded to show, like, the strongest areas as far as central, like how central it is geographically in Las Vegas, as well as demographically, like where most of the players are. And most of the players in general are Henderson and like West Vegas and or East Vegas, my bad.
Right.
So Gamers Paradise is like perfect because it sort of hits the outer edges of Henderson, as well as get really close to the center of Vegas in general.
Right. That's super cool, man. Like, and I actually like that venue. How did the tournament a couple days ago go? There wasn't a whole lot of entrants, right? It was like sub 16, right?
There was like 14, I believe.
Which is more than some of our monthlies have been.
Yeah.
like 3 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Like, it's kind of weird. I'm not sure exactly why. I feel like we should have more numbers considering the location, but maybe people don't like, or were either busy or they didn't want to have a tournament so close to the last PSG tournament that Thursday, which actually had a surprising like 28 entrants or something like that for Melee. Yeah, I know, right? Like literally double. So it's kind of strange. Like you would think that because of a Gamers Paradise location, that more people would show up, but that's really not the case. At least so far with the tournaments we've had there.
Yeah, I was just tired. That's straight up. That's the reason I didn't go to any of them. I was like, I'm tired, dude.
Yeah.
I just did so much at Evo.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is also the late notice as well.
That's true.
Like, it's because
Right.
As far as my experience goes, they haven't necessarily been very well communicating with us about any Smash tournaments or anything at all. So usually it's like
Are you talking about Gamers Paradise?
Yeah. It's usually me finding out that they posted about it, and then 3 days later they reply to me, and then I get Tony on the case, and it takes them a day to reply to him. So, it's just all that extra stuff as well.
Yeah, hopefully we get a little bit better line of communication, which I think is one of the biggest pros of PSG, is that Andy guy is just like on top of it. We say like, hey Andy, we need information. He's just like, okay, tell me what you need, and like tell us, and I'll tell you what we can do.
Yeah.
So have we settled on a time for our monthlies? I think third Saturday is awesome.
You missed it. Okay.
Go ahead.
Never mind. I was gonna say, I don't know if you heard what I was talking about. This coming up monthly, it's gonna be signups at 4, tournament at 5. But you're talking about in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're gonna keep going with third Saturdays of the month. Just because it seems pretty good so far, and it's been working.
And Saturdays don't run as much into random holidays, I think.
Right.
Like Sundays, we run into I think we run into Easter sometimes. We run into Mother's Day and Father's Day, and like weird holidays that like kind of schedule on Sundays like that. We would have that
the
like
bigger
2 or 3 times a year.
the bigger thing about Sundays is that, especially when they run like later into the night, it's not convenient for a lot of people who need to wake up early in the morning. But
Right.
for on a Saturday night, it's like it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I like to mention, I haven't really told anybody this, or too many people this, but regarding the monthlies, if our Project M numbers keep dropping, or if we, I guess, yeah, just don't get as many entrances as we used to, we won't continue to do Project M pools, because when there's only like 20, like 25 or so entrants or whatever, or like less than 30 entrants even, it's just not.
It actually
It's
wastes
kind of
time.
a waste of time to run pools. Yeah. So if that's the case, we'll just be doing a double elimination tourney for Project M. Yeah.
So PM got to get their numbers back up.
Yeah. I think people have just been busy, but I really like to see more entrants for PM. I feel like so many people have just like that were interested in the game have just kind of stopped showing up to tourneys. You were gonna say something, Cameron?
Oh yeah, I did some stats on turnout for PM because I thought the melee was also dropping, but it's actually stayed pretty steady, like around like 36 to 40. But PM, yeah, it had good months before the last melees, and then the last melees was really good. But ever since then, it's been dropping, and I think it's what you were saying, Jeremy. It's like people just, especially melee players, have lost interest in playing both of the games, so they're dropping PM, and that's what's really killing the turnout, I think.
Well, part of it is that. Well, I think a big part of it is that, like, especially with Evo, that like leading up to Evo, people didn't want to, focus like play both games. They just want to focus on melee because, like. Because that's what you should do, I guess, if you wanna be better at melee, which is like perfectly possible. But I feel like there's even just like a lot of those like people who specifically play PM that don't really show up to tournaments. Like I said, I'm assuming it's just they're busy or something. But
yeah,
I
we miss Gizmo a lot. Like Gizmo's one of the more dedicated players, and we never see him at like monthlies.
Yeah, I actually think I just. I might be wrong, but I feel like I saw Gizmo at PSG last Thursday. But yeah, he hasn't. I don't think he's been showing up to too many monthlies.
Right.
Yeah, but like players like that, like there are some people who are just interested in specifically PM, that just haven't been able to show up, I guess.
Yeah, we really don't have a PM only scene here. It's mostly people who play both games.
Yeah, and a lot of them that were PM only have either become mixed or converted.
Yeah. Because right now I'm looking at the map and I see only 6 players total in Vegas that have filled the player form out
that are exclusive.
Like PM focused. And that's not a lot. That's out of like 60 people.
Right.
So.
Melee is on it. It's weird. Melee is like so popular now. That's where the heat is, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Here at least, I know. Well, in New Mexico, they had an 85-person Project M tournament, and their melee. I don't know how big their melee was, but that's huge for a city half our size.
Yeah.
Albuquerque getting more than twice as much for Project M than us. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Any other things to get towards? Oh, the flyer contest. Like, there are very few things I could be like more indifferent about. Like, so someone suggested a flyer contest. I'm not sure who it was, but basically the idea was to hold a flyer contest to create some sort of graphic or something to try and whip something up, if you will, about our tournaments communities that may not know that Vegas players play Super Smash Bros. Melee and Project M. And maybe as an idea that whoever wins the flyer contest, people will print out that copy of that flyer, and then the winner of the flyer contest would either get like a free tournament entry or something like that. And maybe as an idea that whoever wins the flyer contest, people will print out that copy of that flyer, and then the winner of the flyer contest would either get like a free tournament entry or something like that. And maybe as an idea that whoever wins the flyer contest would either get like a free tournament entry or something like that. But again, it's not something I'm like ultra. Like I'm pretty indifferent about it. I think it's a cool idea to get flyers. I don't think a contest is necessarily necessary, but like I think that is a good idea to have flyers and stuff like that. So when there's places that let you advertise things like that, it might be cool. Do we have any opinions on that?
I think
that's a great idea. I don't really have much to say besides that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like I was actually talking to this with a couple people after the Gamers Paradise tourney. I think flyers would definitely help, but also I think maybe a more difficult thing would be actually getting players who want to stay in the community instead of just like showing up to one tournament, getting blocked, and like not showing any more interest. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like maybe we could think of like some way to incentivize this. Like just off the top of my head, maybe like well, this isn't the best idea, but you know what I mean. Like letting them enter the tournament for free the first time, or like possibly I think Cameron or someone else mentioned like a referral system where like if you bring this guy, you get like a discount on your entry fee, or like just like something like that.
I was thinking about that, where you get a reward for bringing someone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or even like this is like small, but like if we do end up having amateur tournaments, like sure it's just $1, but like they get free entry into the amateur bracket.
Yeah, it's not.
Or like just like I think anything would be, like maybe be helpful. Because I'd really like to see, I guess, more new players, and like I said, I think the hardest part is really just having them stay in the community and not just like peace out.
Yeah.
I have been seeing a lot of new faces that I have no idea who they are, so that's a good sign, but
yeah, it definitely is a good sign. Ever since we started running tourneys at PSG, there have been a lot of new faces showing up, which is like super awesome. I should really ask them how they've heard of the community and stuff like that, but I really like seeing
new
faces.
Sometimes it's the most random reasons too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I stumbled in drunk to this thing, and someone was talking about this, and I was like, oh, I had a GameCube one time, I'll play Smash Brothers. It's always like a weird reason. Flyers, definitely a cool idea. If we can get some like basic design, maybe we'll throw them on some business cards too, and get them to some of the people that are around the city more often than myself. People like Psycho or Bacon. Well, Bacon's graduated. People like Psycho, who's at UNLV, that maybe can leave some. And Psycho, actually, for how quiet that guy is, he's actually referred quite a few people to our tournaments.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of other people out there too that could do the same. Or even if it like, I'm almost tempted to get like a business card that has the most basic information and links to our Facebook group, and anyone that looks like in their mid-20s that might play video games, like that I see like on the bus ride home, just say, yo, what's up, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think getting like business cards for even just the Facebook groups or whatever could be helpful.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else worth? I guess we had a small issue with seeding pools, like last monthly or something. I don't think that's a huge deal. I think maybe if we just paid a little bit closer attention to our seeding, then it won't be too much of an issue.
Wait, are you talking about the one I hosted or the one Tony hosted?
I'm honestly not sure. I just heard that one of the pools had some issues. I think it might have been one you hosted because you had someone else look over it and they missed something too. But I honestly don't really know much about it.
Oh, I'm not sure what you're talking about then. I did take a while to make the pools, but that's just because it was my first time, so I kind of didn't want to fuck up. But like if I did that stuff in the future, I'd do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
The mess. It was me who pointed it out, but it's because I was looking retrospectively from our current rankings to point out areas where there were huge disparities. So it was like two or like three borderline people in the same pool with a ranked person.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like three people that sort of deserve to be in the top 16 in the bracket, sort of fighting over one spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so we'll have to watch that maybe closer. People like Edge, for example. Edge is a great example, who's one of those borderline players that should be basically second seed in this pool.
The thing is, though, like, I actually disagree with you, Cameron. I don't think anyone deserves to be in top 16. Like, if you're not on the top 10 rankings, then wherever you get seeded into a pool, like, really shouldn't matter. Like, in my opinion, that's just like part of the RNG of the tournament. Like, if I make pools saying this guy should get first seed, this guy should get second seed, like, it's impossible basically to make like up to 8 pools or whatever, and not even have like a third of them, or however many, be like pools where there's borderline players, like 2 or 3 borderline players, because of how like our scene is and how I guess pools work. Like, I think it's kind of like almost ridiculous to because, like, I guess how the way you said it makes me think that, like, as you make a pool, you're actually just like assuming this guy's gonna get first seed, this guy's gonna get second seed, without like any like second guessing, and that's just like not how it works.
Well, I think you do have to kind of look at the rankings. I mean, that's usually the case. Is like, you don't want a pool that has like have a Psycho, Edge, Diaper, and Jordan. Like that's kind of like even though Edge, Diaper, and Jordan aren't technically ranked, they're all players that like basically can break pools.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable pool.
Really?
Yeah. Like, okay, like, the thing is, I know what you guys are saying, but
there was a pool with Dan the Man and Tribulation. Those 3 players, one of them could have been moved into a pool with Dan the Man and Tribulation.
Yeah, but literally that was the one pool. So, like, that was one pool out of, like, 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that was a mess up, but I'm saying it's easier to fix those kind of pools than it is to fix pools with too many borderline players. That's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah. Well,
you're gonna have like multiple pools where you have like those borderline players.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be true. But if there's a pool that has one like S-class player and nothing else, we should do our best to try to get some of those borderline players into, like, at least into a pool that's like a desert with one guy in it, like, if possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if every pool's got a borderline player and a ranked player, then yeah, you're gonna have to fill it with more borderline players. That's just kind of what happens. There shouldn't be any dead pools basically with a ranked player and nothing basically. That's really the thing that you want to avoid if you can clean up a pool without ruining another pool, kind of.
All the examples I came up with were specifically that. It was like there was Dan the Man had Tribulation and some no name in his pool, and he was able to get out. Wow, I can't remember who it was, but it was like 3 borderline players had to fight each other.
Oh, it was Captain Cosmo. Oh, the no name Captain Cosmo.
Nick, sorry.
Okay, I guess I'm like, yeah, that was a mistake in the pool, but like I'll admit that and stuff. But also, I guess it's not as easy as you might think, or like, because you can't just say that, because like the thing is, a lot of times what will happen is if I switched Dan the Man or Tribulation with someone else out of the pool, that pool could still be like that pool could just get reversed to where that pool is like dead. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, it does depend on who shows up. Like,
yeah.
Because I think also, Fernando's pool was also Fernando and no one, like, originally. I think. That might have been two. That might have been
No,
That
it
was 2
wasn't.
months. That was 2
His
months
pool
ago.
was-
Sorry. Yeah, that was 2 months ago.
His
Sorry.
pool was, yeah.
That was the pool. That was the month he beat Leo actually. Where Fernando's pool actually was. He had a free pass, but yeah, it was him and Psyche, huh? In pool play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was mixing up tournaments. But
It's
yeah, I
honestly
mean,
not a big deal.
no, it's not,
just,
and it wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that bad. It's just something that, like, oh, if we can look a little bit closer, and if there's something that can be cleaned or more balanced, then we can try to do it. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
I think with Tony's rating system now, it'll make it easier in general to do seeding.
Yeah. Elo is scary, man. There's so much like turnover when a different player wins in that system, man. One tournament can mean so much. Let's see. All right. What's our next slide? Thanks everyone for staying up so late with us. Evo was by and far the longest tab, so don't think every tab's gonna take nearly this long.